first.
Gentlewoman's time has expired. Now recognize the gentleman from Washington, Mr. Baumgartner.
Well, thank you, Mr. Chair, and to the members of the committee and to our distinguished panelists here. I was able to visit the fires last week, saw that immense destruction. Also have some personal background here. My father was 40 years a professor of forestry. My uncle was a smoke jumper. My other uncle laid out more timber sales than anyone in Oregon history, and I worked 2 summers on fire science research teams. And frankly, we have way too much fuel load in our western forests, given 100 years of fire suppression. I'd like to get to the solutions, so I'm going to show a short video from some folks in Northeast Washington that can go in and do the kind of forest management that we need to reduce these fuel loads. This is from Vaughan Timber. What they do is they can take very small diameter trees and still get some value out of them and clean up the forest. So this is what the solution would look like if we could play the video.
Hello there. My name is Dwayne Vaughan with Vaughan Brothers Lumber in Colville, Washington. We are surrounded by the Colville National Forest here. We've been working on it for over 50 years. We're doing a lot of fuels reduction and thinning. We want to show that, how that works here, and how it may show in other areas. And we really appreciate people that want to come up and see what we're doing, how we're doing it, and why it works, and what needs to be done yet to make it work even better or on a larger scale. We've got projects that are big up here called A to Z. We could handle more than double that, so we could thin more acres. Technology is the key here. If you had to do it by hand, it would take you a week to do an acre. With these machines, they can do 20 acres a day, which is economy of scale. And you got to have that critical mass because we have so many acres that need to be treated, even here, but on all forest in the West. So this fuels reduction work is very important to our forest, but all the forest. Unfortunately, quite the tragedy happened down in California with the LA fires. It's not necessarily forest like here, but it has fuel reductions that are needed, some forest treatments that are needed. We're showing you what we think will work in many, many places. So I will show and explain what this is all about. So we take a thick forest, we thin it out, we try to remove 50% of all fuels, if not more. Some forests have more than that, some a little less, but it takes incredible technology. And here, we're doing brush piling, but we're raking it up because you got a lot of fine fuels. And we put it in a pile where it dries, and later in the season, you burn it, and it burns very well. But this machine, we used to do it by hand, and it took forever. So now we have a brush rake on the front of that machine, and the guys are really good at it. Sometimes it's so steep we have to tie a cable on the machine to hold it as it goes down the hill and rakes all this. So he rakes coming and going, and they do a very good job. The piles are mostly woody debris, and they burn fast, they burn hot. But you can see it protects that fuel break from the rest of the forest, and we're going around various places of the forest to build all these fuel breaks. So again, the raking, the piling, and the burning is very, very critical. And fortunately, we have some value in this small material that it pays for the raking, the piling, and the burning, and also the road maintenance. So we think we're onto something that is going to lead us in the future to treat the acres that are available, need treated to protect our communities, make them healthy, make the forest healthy, gives us clean water, habitat, and clean air.
Well, thank you. So this is the solution that we need to implement in many of our forests in the western U.S. My question, perhaps Mr. Ring here, would be, what would it take for California to be able to implement these kind of common sense forest policies to rebalance our forests for a healthy forest?
Well, we'd have to bring back the timber industry. We'd have to have a way to bring back, for example, 130 mills were in California. You need to be about within 60 miles of a forest to have an economical mill, and we're down to 30 mills. So that's an example of something where there needs to be some revolving loan funds, for example, to help the timber industry get back up to speed. We need to allow logging in national forests, which is very hard. 57% of California's forests, marketable timber, is in national forests. We also have to recognize that private companies thin the forests far more efficiently. I talked with firefighters as well, Congressman Liu, And the firefighters that I talked with said that CAL FIRE typically has so many people on a job and does forest clearing with so many rules and command and control and so forth that they are about, well, he gave me an example, one of the firefighters, there was 28 people doing half the work that a three-man crew on an adjacent property was able to do from a private company.
Thank you, Mr. Ring. I'm going to ask unanimous consent to enter into the record the statement from NAMIC without objection. We now go to the gentleman from Georgia, Mr. Johnson, for 5 minutes.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and it's good to be